and what are we doing in the most severely hit places like Burhakabo and Baydabo and other 11 or so more districts that fall into similar categories and localities. So we must have a collaborative approach to the response. As is the case, it is observed that the traditional adaptation and coping mechanisms have also taken a toll, and they seem to have reached their limits. While the long-term and durable solutions of this recurring disaster is addressed in the National Development Plan and the government's programs, the reality is that we have a staggering 8 million people and over 17 million livestock whose lives are threatened by the current drought. That is the situation we're in now. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all are aware of, another root cause and a driving factor of the drought is the insecurity and the heightened conflicts in various parts of Somalia. Particularly the war against Al-Shabaab and other terrorist groups. Our government has vowed to free our people from the shackles of these extremist groups who impose inhumane exploitative measures on people, forcing them to forego their livelihoods and migrate to metropolitan cities as IDPs. It's worth mentioning that these people who find themselves to be IDPs today are from some of the most productive parts of Somalia, either in the rail-fed irrigation lands of Bayan Bakol or other parts of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, local communities who are uprising against Al-Shabaab's harsh measures and the Somali National Army, the federal security institutions and personnel are waging a war against Al-Shabaab in various fronts. And as of now, they have taken vast areas of land from Hiran to Galgudud, from Jubaland to southwest state of Somalia. As you can all understand, considering the duration during which these people were under siege, it is only reasonable to expect that there is a need for stabilization programs and aid delivery to the newly displaced people. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the root causes and the drivers of the conflict. Of course, the lack of purchasing power and various other societal and economic factors contribute to the people that are in need of response and assistance now. So on the response front, the government has taken various steps. The President has appointed a special envoy who has been tirelessly working on addressing issues of concern here. Last night I was on the phone with him. He's in America talking to the Somali communities and trying to raise funds among the Somali communities in the diaspora. Although the occurring droughts and conflicts have put a burden on them, but we still continue to receive significant amounts from the diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister, when he formed the cabinet, has established a particular ministry to deal with the root causes, that is the environmental ministry, Ministry of Climate Change and Adaptation, has been formed, and we have the State Minister present here with us. In addition to that, we have also reinstated the Somali Disaster Management Agency, whose representatives and leadership are present with us here today, and they will be dealing with the implementation of the response. In addition to that, there is an interministerial response committee at the national level composed of ministers, the Chamber of Commerce, civil society, and religious groups. So we have taken a series of steps to ensure that there are right set of institutions and arrangements to respond to the drought. In addition to that, the Ministry of Interior that oversees SODMA at the cabinet level and SODMA itself have had a series of meetings and interactions with the federal member state level bodies, their line ministries of humanitarian affairs. And furthermore, during the last national consultative meeting that I attended, responding to droughts was identified as a national threat and a national priority. So collectively, the leadership have spoken to the Somali public and their relative institutions to collaborate on the response. As the upcoming presentations will illustrate, visits were taken to various places by SOTMA, by the Prime Minister. The President went to Baydhabo, the Prime Minister went to Iran, the Chairman of SOTMA and others went to different parts of Southwest and Iran. So we have taken various steps and initiatives to try to both respond and take stock of the situation. On the way forward, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that despite massive efforts on the Somali side and our international partners' side, the situation only seems to be gaining in severity. Therefore, we hope that at the end of this gathering, we are able to come up with mechanisms and means through which we can collaborate on in order to respond in the most effective and efficient manner. The government is willing and ready to take the lead, and in collaboration with our partners, we hope to avert the situation from getting more serious than it is today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close with the following observations. As you all are aware of, the insecurity in Somalia creates a logistical and systemic difficulties in terms of delivery of aid and service to the needy people. Therefore, any intervention plan that we're going to put in place must take this into factor. For instance, if we bring food and other items to ports, we must factor in how do we transport them to the actual localities. Furthermore, it is, of course, well-known fact that there has been increase in the amount of pledges that have been now received and the resource available to us. Therefore, we must take stock of how are we actually responding and what are we doing in the most severely hit places like Burhakabo and Baydhabo and other 11 or so more districts that fall into similar categories and localities. So we must have a collaborative approach to the response. The essence of this meeting is to ensure that the processes are streamlined, that red tape is not a problem, and that there are no overlaps or some of these communities do not fall between the gaps.